So we're here at Dingle Farm in Worcestershire, and we've been looking at how they've worked with the big four for the wild pollinators. So the big four being food, shelter, connectivity and a reduction in stress.
You can't plan orchards anymore off some sheet. You need to have make a very conscious decision. What might work in a different part of the country or even just 30 miles away may not necessarily work in your situation on your farm. And so the other challenges that everybody else faces are labor challenges, social challenges like we have had the last 18 months or so. It all comes together, but the main contender for us is what's going on up there.
The three key parts of integrated pest management are prevention, observation and control. And prevention really is starting with good site selection for the crop you've chosen, whether the nutrition's right, drainage, the aspect, before you've even planted. So that's the sort of the starting point, and that's good common sense agricultural practice.
Predators would be insects that feed on, for example, the fruit fly. That is by far our biggest risk to our crop is the Suzuki fly, because it can destroy the entire crop. So the way to look at it is we do physical measures like mass trapping to control the population that way, pretty much take it out, and also maybe use it for monitoring. When are the pressure points on the farm, and that's often then determines when you will have to use some of the more severe products.
So we'll be observing the life cycle of pests and disease within the crop and the particular parts of the crop that might be affected, whether it's leaf, flowers, could be shoots, and the different pests or disease will be around different parts in the life cycle. You might get a particular pest at one stage of the year and it's not an issue, but later on, maybe closer to flowering, it could be an issue, or with the fruit. So it's regular observations, and we can help with aids like traps. So we've got pheromone traps which will attract certain moth species in, and here on the cherry farm we've got the traps in the hedgerows for spotted wing Drosophila, which could be quite a devastating pest. And it's regular monitoring to see is there a presence and the quantity, and when in the life cycle of the crop in question. And from that, the farmer and the growers can make a decision of whether they've hit a level where control is necessary.
For us, it's very important to have knowledge, because it gives us another tool to make, an educated decision of how to approach things. This year, what we've added is to install a weather station. So we've got the weather station with historic data now, which we then can compare. So certain weather patterns, and if we look back to May this year, which has been absolutely detrimental to the yield, and we can look back to that and see, well, is there something we can prepare for should such a situation arise?
And the control part is decided upon with the level after the observation. It may be that the threshold for treatment is the presence of one particular insect on one flower or within a field block. And the control measure really goes back to the start of the IPM, is the prevention of, have you got natural predators around that can help you control. It could be ground beetles in an arable crop, it could be earwigs in orchards, there are other predators out there, so we can try and help them. And at a point they may not be enough, so can we do things like keeping the pests out. We've seen netting, and that's something that's used widely in soft fruit. It might even be rabbit netting. The rabbit might be a pest. Can we keep that pest out of the crop? So there's different scales. And then if we need to go for chemical control, can we choose a product that is least harmful to humans, natural predators and the environment, and go as low input as we can, because anything that's too harsh is just as likely to take out the natural predators as the insect pest you're targeting.
In the last few years, what we've been using more extensively is a product that contains garlic, for example. So it's a plant-based product. It is not a chemical-based product, and it seems to deter it rather nicely.
It's correct targeting. So some of that will be the monitoring part of the integrated pest management. It might be from that is to ensure the timing is correct. Is there actually a problem? It isn't a case of, right, Tuesday's spray day. Do we actually have a problem? Do we have a problem that is over a threshold where we need to treat? And if we do need to treat, what are the options we have? It might be we step back and say, well, we've got a balance with the natural predators, let's see what they do. Or it might be we've hit that threshold that we may need to get out a chemical intervention. And those chemical interventions, again, can we choose one that's least damaging to the environment?
Pest management, I would say, is very ongoing. You need to be very aware of it, but permanently look for other solutions other than to apply chemicals. I think that is, for us, it's more sympathetic to the environment, it's more sympathetic to your pocket, and because I always look at it from a commercial point of view. I need to make sure that the way we work gives us a living. And in order to do that, you need to look at a range of things. But environment definitely has, and it's not a recent thing for us. It's been pretty much from the word go. The first time we harvested cherries off these trees, we have started looking at the environment and what an effect the way we farm has on the immediate environment.
The Water Environment Grant was a great example of where we were able to access significant amounts of funding to create habitat and do simple things like look at nutrient management plans. The hay exchange is a marvellous example of 20, possibly even 30 farmers now are negotiating with each other, picking up the phone to each other, running their own events on species-rich hay and sharing that hay, which is full of wonderful seed flowers. I've been able to endorse over 30 mid-tier, countryside stewardship mid-tier agreements, which means that those land managers, farmers, have been able to really fully get every penny out of those schemes, but they're also delivering everything that they possibly can. And that has been shown through us being a case study that the project has significantly increased the opportunities for wild pollinators and beneficial insects in the target areas that we're working in. So what next is to keep the group together, to keep the interest alive, whilst we also work to influence the shape of the new countryside stewardship schemes so that we can transition the group into the new way that money will come into farming in a way that will benefit the group members financially as well as wildlife in general.